All right, so welcome again to another episode of This Is My Story. We all do have stories. Everyone has. Someone else's one is bitter. Someone else's is bittersweet. Someone was born with a silver spoon. So that's sweet, isn't it? Well, but my guest for today is someone who's been through it all. I mean, I know her to have been speaking for children and women for a long time. Something happened, she had to be transferred from where she was to another post. By the grace of God, she was appointed as Ghana's ambassador to Italy, and so she dined and wined with the Pope in Rome. And then, because of her hard work, she was brought to be minister for Upper East region. And this is a woman many people on social media call everyone else's mother. She's mother of all. We know her as Paulina Abayage, but one name that she brought, and I think that's a traditional name that's so sweet, is Tangoba. So you hear Paulina Tangoba Abayage. She is my guest for today. She is going to share her story with us so that we get to hear. This is her story. Pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to have you too.
So if we say Tangoba Abayage, who is Tangoba Abayage?
Tangoba Abayage is 58-year-old.
Oh,
woman.
Yeah, you look beautiful.
I'll be 59 in June, 30th June.
Whoa, that's 1 year shy of 60.
Exactly.
Hey.
Born in Adiambra.
Oh, West Side.
West Side. Ambulance one area. So.
They were vibing.
Oh, vibing. Oh.
Yeah, Tadina secondi vibing.
Tadina secondi. And nyama no.
Yes.
So I was born in Adiambra secondi to late Abayage and his wife. Adiambra, we had two communities. Adiambra was built for workers who built the rail line and the harbor. So we had those who were maybe in middle management, they had their own area. It's like Soweto and what?
Johannesburg?
The apartheid time,
Okay.
you had the Soweto and then you had the Johannesburg. So that's how Adiambra basically is. You have those who were a bit rich, segregated somewhere. Then we had the ghetto as also somewhere. I was born in the ghetto.
Okay.
I was born in the ghetto to this poor, extremely poor.
Wow.
I mean, that area was for generally poor people, you know. So I was born on the 30th of June, 1960. My dad was a night watchman.
Okay.
Was a night watchman. Then in the morning, he was a night watchman at PWD Sekondi. In the morning, he would go and sweep Sekondi post office. I don't know how he got these two jobs because as a public servant, you're supposed to work only once, but he had these two jobs. Then when he comes home, he'll go to the farm. So basically, my dad was doing 3 jobs
At a time.
And even with the 3 jobs, it was difficult for us to get one square meal, one good meal.
Wow.
One good meal a day was a luxury.
Whoa.
It was a luxury. And my mom would do all manner of petty trading from whatever she could lay hands on. And of course, growing up with her, I had to do those stuff myself. So I've sold everything. I've sold kerosene, kerosene, whatever it is, you know.
Mendesumo crazy. Yeah.
Yes, I've sold bread. You go and take bread from somebody. I've sold kenke. I've sold. My mom would brew pito, would carry the pito and go around. She sold appetition before. Anything she could just lay hands on. Yet, it was difficult for us to get one good meal because my mom would go to Navrongo. Of course, although we're poor, we're far better than our family back in Nabrongo. So anytime she went, she would bring a cousin or somebody's child and then come and then. So we could be 10 in one room. And this room that we are having this program, you could divide this into about 3.
Whoa.
And 1/3 of it would be that room that we're staying in.
10 people.
Yeah, so 10. And then my dad used wood, wherever he would pick a piece of wood or roofing sheet or wherever, you come and do something small, wedge something small. So we had this small veranda that he had roofed. And basically that was it. That was it. So that's how I grew up. But of course, I mean, I am very intelligent. That one, grace of God, I'm very, very intelligent. So I went to school very early. I went to school also by accident. I wasn't supposed to be in school. My mom loved to send everybody's child, especially those of northern descent. Because generally we don't like going to school. So my mother herself felt sad that she didn't go to school. It was something that haunted her, and she didn't want any child to go through that. So when it was September, those days, September was we have the first term. She would go around all the houses of people of northern descent and pick their children of school-going age and then send them to school. Okay, so my mom had gone around to pick these children. There should be about 5 or 6 children, and I was then 4.5 years. My mother couldn't leave me at home, so I had to go along with them. Then, according to my mother, after the headmaster had written the names of those who were old enough to go to class 1, my mom asked us to go back home. Then I was like, what about me? Then the headmaster said, but you are not old enough to go to school. Then I started crying. My mom said I cried so much. So the headmaster was like, okay, let her go. Teacher, class 1 teacher, come and take her. Let her go. Okay. So that she'll just be running around with them. In a year's time, we will then repeat her so that she can start proper class 1. Interestingly, in a year's time, I think I was 3rd in class.
Whoa.
So I went to school when I was 4.5 years, class 1. Those days,
but that was the time when you had to do this, wasn't it?
Of course. So all the others did that. But as I said, I revolted. I said, so mine, they didn't even let me do this. They just said, okay, you go and then run around with them. So that's how I went to school. I went to school very early. So by 12.5, 13, I went to secondary school. I wrote the common entrance in Form 2, elementary Form 2 passed. I went to secondary school in St. Francis, Chirapa, Upper West. From Form 1.
So you left Adiambra?
I left Adiambra.
And went to...
courtesy, that old lady. My mom. My mom, as I said, she wanted to go to school. She wanted to be a reverend sister.
Okay.
And because she couldn't go to school, she had a friend, a very good friend of hers, who went only up to Form 4. So I don't even know whether she could, but because she could speak basic English, she became a reverend sister. And my mother cursed herself for that. So she didn't want a situation where any of her children would not go to school. Her motivation for sending me to school was for me to become a reverend sister. When I was as early as 10 years, my mother held my hand to a secondary Catholic church for me to go and tell the father that I want to be a reverend sister.
So like she was basically forcing you to.
So the reverend father said, what do you know about being a reverend? I said, well, my mother says I should come and tell you. I said, no, you go back. When you are old enough and you want to take that decision, you can come. Of course, I mean, I wasn't born to be a reverend sister. No. I wasn't born to be a reverend sister at all. There is nothing in me that resembles that of a reverend sister. So, because of that, she loved everything about the Catholic Church, including schools. And she knew that there was this powerful school in Jirapa, which is St. Francis Secondary School, St. Francis of Assisi Girls Secondary School. That's where my late sister attended. So she picked that school for me when I was failing my forms. And I was forced to go there all the way. Already poverty stricken. I had nothing. We had nothing. In fact, when I passed to go to second, I have been barefooted since I was born.
Whoa. You have not been wearing any sandal?
No. So, we go to school or wherever, barefooted.
Wow.
From class 1 to Form 2, when I'm going to school barefooted. I remember one Christmas day. My mother had no dress for us, myself and my kid brother. Unfortunately, he's also passed on. She went and took her bed sheet she had bought. She hadn't used it new, and then gave it to some tailor, Bianca Kwesi, to sew. Those days were the days we had maxi dresses, to sew a dress for me and my brother. Then he sewed this maxi dress, some funny styled maxi dress. Then sewed a shirt. Those days you go from house to house. Bronya Yabo. I was all over Adiambra, walking with my maxi dress barefooted.
Oh, so you had a dress but no sandal, nothing.
One of my classmates saw me when we opened and we go to school. The way they made fun of me.
Oh, the lady without a sandal.
Anyway, so when I passed to go to secondary school, I was barefooted. I was going to secondary school. I was still barefooted. From Adiambra to Kumasi. It was in Kumasi, my mother's brother who had accompanied us to Kumasi saw me. They were in KJT. He was buying some stuff for his daughter who was going with us from home. It had rained heavily. Can you imagine KJT in Suato? It had rained heavily and I was walking. So when he saw me barefooted, he bought me chale with a blue band,
Yeah, that blue
band. My first ever slippers, and I'll be 13 years. My first ever.
At 13?
13
So from 0 to 13, you were walking barefooted?
Barefooted.
13 so Christmas.
13.
You celebrated 13 Christmas.
Christmases.
Barefooted.
Wow. And then, so I got that. Then, my late sister was then in the Upper East region with her husband. So my mother just gave me a chop box, an empty chop box, empty truck.
Hey, there wasn't even Gary in there.
Oh, me cassava, Gary. Empty trunk, empty chop box. And her idea was my sister will now buy the prospectus and give me. Now when my sister just gave me, I think 2 tins of milk, 1 box of sugar, those small ones, and then a tin of Milo. Then I came home. I didn't know how to prepare shito. I'd never done. My mother bought plenty tomatoes and stuff, and so I should prepare shito. If you ask me what the name of that thing I prepared is, I have no idea. By the time I got to school, it was spoiled. So I had to pour everything away. So I was like, there's the 2 tins of milk, 1 tin of Milo, and then that small box of sugar. And then I got to school, and then I felt so seriously sick. So sick, and nobody was, I looked poor. I looked so poor, nobody even wanted to have anything to do with me. So I was sick, I was lying in the dormitory, nobody was even asking, if come, are you not going to school? So the tin of Milo, the 2 tins of milk, within the 2 weeks, everything is finished.
That's serious. So what really changed the way you were? Because you were from a very poverty-stricken home.
Yeah.
What then changed it for you?
I think it's grace. Because seriously, it will go on for years. It will go on for years. Poverty is the reason why I couldn't go to university immediately. I didn't. They cancelled one of our papers. I was then in second D. They said we should come back and write. My mother didn't have money to send me back. So by the time I got there, they had already written one of the papers. So that's economics. So I failed in economics, and there was no way I could rewrite or something. So, and then it went on. I did my national service in poverty. I worked. It would just be from hand to mouth all the way. I got married, and so life was terrible. Life was extremely, extremely terrible. It's the part of my life because I'm no longer with them. I don't like discussing it, so I normally leave that. But even in my marriage, it was not the best of shapes. One would be.
It wasn't pleasant.
No, it wasn't pleasant. Along the line, I started doing programs for women on radio, Upper East Radio, Ura Radio in Upper East region. I think that's what brought me into the limelight. Of course, when you are radio, you are vocal. People begin to know you, accept you. When they are having programs, they'll invite you to come. Now, I joined the band. I sing very well,
Oh.
Yeah, so I joined the band. So it gradually, popularity started setting in. So people invite you to come one activity after the other. Then Hawa Yakubu became my friend. I would think that would be the breaking point for me. Because Hawa Yakubu became my friend and then became a senior sister, introduced me to things I would otherwise not have been introduced to. Of course, I mean, the little monies that will come, she gave me the opportunity to drive an automatic car the first time.
Wow.
Yes.
And this is 2000 and what? Or 90 what?
2002, 2003, thereabouts. I met her in 2000. And actually, she also brought me into politics. Because before then, I wasn't doing politics. Of course, when you are on radio, you're supposed to be apolitical. Even if you have a party that you support, you're not supposed to openly do politics. By the time she came to the region, I will interview her. And after the interview, she asked me I should follow her to go to Boko. Then I started learning and I enjoyed her kind of campaign. I seriously enjoyed her kind of campaign. So basically, I think that will be the breaking point. Because then again, through her, for the first time, I met a president who invited me to sit with him like we are sitting. And that's President Kufuor. Later, Chilwa had died and I was the MC. And that's another thing I do very well. Our master ceremony is very, very, very well. So I think I did it to his satisfaction or even beyond his satisfaction. So after the program, he asked the regional minister to call me to see.
So if that's the breaking point, then let's talk about your radio thing.
Yes.
Were you being paid for it or was for free?
No, I wasn't. It was free. I wasn't being paid for it. I wasn't being paid for it at all. Along the line, once in a while you get then Action Aid. Once in a while, maybe I'll get Action Aid to sponsor, but their sponsorship was so minimal. I just loved the fact that you were doing something that was affecting particularly the lives of women. I mean, it was changing a lot of narratives. Because when we talk of poverty, and people think that poverty in the South is completely different from poverty in the North. Oh, what? When you want to see real poverty, go to the northern part of our country. Because look, here we have our 2-3 rains, some places 3 rains, minimum 2 rains in a year. So you have rains you can do things with. In our part of the country, as I speak with you, the weather is streaming hot. You can use the water from your tap to prepare Milo. I mean it, yes. The water is so warm, when you put Milo inside it, it will dissolve. You don't need hot water. As at now, you can't use water heater. So it's so dry. It's so poor. People are doing nothing. And our culture is said that men don't do these menial jobs that women do, like going to the market to go and sell ice water to bring money home. So most of the time, then the men are settled. And the onus of taking care of the family the burden lies directly on the woman. So it's that thing that motivated me to do a program to encourage women to get out of that cycle of poverty, because it wasn't only affecting them, it was affecting their marriages, it was affecting their children, the health, the education and everything. So I was motivated by that.
Okay, so for you, even if you were not being paid,
I was happy. I was happy. And of course, it was also bringing you into contact with people who admired what you were doing, and then eventually they will invite you to come and give talk, and you also invite you to come and moderate programs, be a resource person. And I was enjoying it. There you will get, of course, it won't be much, but you'll get something small to enter the market and buy some pepper.
But if you look at today's world, is this something you would recommend for young people to do? I mean, if you have a work and you're doing it for free, you're not being paid, do it.
Yes. Do it. Do it. As long as it doesn't negatively affect you, do it. Look, especially programs like that. I know you are not paid well. Of course, I don't know about you, but I know most of these radio presenters are not paid well. But you get that opportunity to be out there. And you don't only have to concentrate on that. Do something outside. When you get the opportunity to go and then, for instance, I mean, I told you I MC programs. Your family don't give you anything. But that day I did this program, I MC'd this program. And Kufuor called me and told me, I'm going to give you a job.
Oh,
yes.
So you had a job from that?
That's the regional director for women at that time was given to me by the president.
Oh. Okay. Wow. so it meant that from that MC, you were elevated from just a radio presenter not being paid.
Of course, I was a teacher.
Okay.
I was a teacher. I was working as a teacher. I won best teacher, national best teacher for technical vocation.
Oh.
In 2002.
Oh wow. Oh. So we're talking to best teacher here.
Yeah.
So that MC, which of course I'm not sure you have been paid for it.
No. I did it for free.
You got your job of a regional director for children, women and children.
That time it was just women. We had two departments. It's at the national level that we have the ministry, the Ministry for Women, and Gender and Children and Social Protection. Gender, Children and Social Protection. At our time, it was Ministry for Women and Children, headed by Gladys Asma, eventually to Aji Alima. It was actually under Aji Alima that I became the regional director.
Wow.
So that is it. So but when you come down at the national level, at the ministerial level, is women and children. At the national level, it's Department of Women, Department of Children. So so I was the regional director for women. Upper East region. Exactly so.
Because I remember I was in this position when you were in the Central region that we first met.
Exactly.
At ATL.
Exactly.
Because we were coming to there to do the same
thing. Exactly.
So you got to be a regional, the director of women.
Yes.
And then one thing led to the other. So what then got you the ambassadorship?
So of course, through Hawa Yakubu, then eventually Kufuor, I fell in love with politics. It's one of the best things to do. It's like an opium. If you get involved in politics, it's like an opium. If you do it well, you will always want to go back and do it. So although I was a civil servant, and we are not supposed to do politics as civil servants, I was hiding behind the scenes. Of course, I had my own, and then we were in power then, so you could hide behind the scenes and then do your politics. Only don't break the rules. And the rule is that don't be seen in party paraphernalia, and don't mount political platforms. Don't go for any political position. All three I didn't do. I was doing my own work. So since 2002, thereabout, I've been MPP.
Wow.
Behind the scenes, quietly. That's why a lot of people didn't hear about me till we came to. But they all knew me. There's nobody at the national level who didn't know me at that time.
Because I got to meet you in between around 2010, 2011, 2012. You didn't show anything.
We were in opposition.
Yeah, but
I had run away.
But still, nothing really showed that you had a color.
No.
So you did it so well.
Yeah. Because when you are a civil servant, look, I mean, even when you are a politician, you are a civil service. Your first mandate is to serve the government of the day. That is all. And I mean, I know how to balance between being a civil servant and a politician, because I'm supposed to serve the government of the day. The government of the day has its policies and plans. You are supposed to help the government implement. Why should I drag in my political colors? I'm not supposed to do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you did it so well.
Yes.
That was good of you.
Exactly.
Were you aware you were going to be given an ambassador role?
No.
How did it come about?
No. I mean, never ever in my wildest dreams did I ever think I would be an ambassador. Even after we had won the elections, never did it cross my mind that I would be an ambassador. I have no idea how that happened. And I have no idea why, of all the places, it was Italy he sent. Because before Nana Akufo-Addo became the president, almost every government will give just about 2 ambassadorial positions to the northern sector. So if northern region got 1 or maximum 2, it will be within the African continent. And then Upper East and Upper West, it was basically to Burkina Faso. So if Upper West had, Upper East might not get. And if Upper East had, Upper West might not get. That had always been it. So even if I was to be considered for an ambassadorial position, you would immediately assume that to be Burkina Faso. When we won the elections, and I campaigned very well in 2016, although, of course, as at 2016, I think I'd been treated unfairly by the department, the ministry. That's a story I won't discuss. I'd been treated unfairly. So I was like, oh, hey, after all, I've served one of the best regional directors that you could find in the ministry at that time. I've done my best. So if after all that, just because somebody has heard that I have a political affiliation to the NPP and then I was punished for no reason, I just became unbothered. So for the first time in 2016, although I was a civil servant, I went out publicly and campaigned and wore party colors. As my brother John Mama will say, "Dead go to Dead go to can be environment." So I campaigned seriously, and my campaign strategy was across the country. I could go anywhere because of my relationship with almost all the regions I had. So when we won, the president told me that he was going to make me an ambassador.
Oh, you were told?
Yes. Normally he'll call you and tell you what he wants to do with you. He gave me the reason. The reason why he wanted to make me an ambassador, which again I'm not going to discuss. It's not everything you discuss with the president that you mentioned. But he told me he was going to give me a good country.
Okay.
People were asking me to go, okay, he says he's going to make you an ambassador, go and lobby, go and say maybe you want South Africa, go and say you want here, so that he doesn't give you any. I said, look, the president, I didn't know he was going to make me an ambassador. He decided he was going to make me an ambassador. He says he will give you a good country. Why do I have to go and then? And I'm happy I didn't. Because when he called me and told me he was sending me to Italy, it blew my mind.
You never imagined it?
Never. Never did I ever. Now, till now, he doesn't know this. But my only surviving sibling had been in Italy for 40 years and not come home. And I hadn't seen him for 40 years. The only surviving sibling. I don't have any other relative. My mother is gone, my father is gone, all other siblings. The only surviving sibling I had been in Italy for 40 solid years.
Wow. Now they are bringing his, a male or female?
Male. I brought him to Ghana.
Oh, you brought him?
So he's in Nigeria.
So they were sending his sister to him.
And as I told you, my mother's commitment to the Catholic Church was so extraordinary to the extent that when the Pope John Paul came to Ghana, you can imagine the millions. My mother traveled from Edinburgh to Accra just because the Pope. She says she didn't care even if she didn't see the Pope. Once she was, and I know she didn't come anywhere close to the Pope. I can imagine her dream to ever meet the Pope. Oh. And then I went there and I've lived the dream of this old lady who wanted to meet the Pope.
So you met the Pope.
I did. And
you met so what did your brother do when he first met you? Saw you?
He cried.
But what did you do?
Oh, well, I was extraordinarily happy. I didn't cry. He cried because life wasn't so good for him there. Okay. One thing people don't know is that out there, the reality out there is not what we think. It's like we of northern extraction who think Accra is the panacea to all our problems, and then they'll come home, they'll look so beautiful. Whenever they are coming, they spend about 3 months to groom themselves and come. Most of them. So when they come, they look so nice. They've saved everything. Sometimes they even take loans to come back home, just to come and spend some 3 months and go back. And then when they come, we think that all is so rosy. They plug the monies from on the streets. And then we get there only to face the reality. Like those Kaye people, when they go back to the north, they don't tell them the true story. They think Accra is
heaven.
So the first day, and his sister is the ambassador. Can you imagine that? When he told he tells me when he told his friends that his sister was coming to Italy to be the ambassador, they didn't believe him. Because suddenly he moved from wherever he used to come and stay with me at the residency, and then I got him his passport.
Life changed.
life changed. So when we're coming home, I said, look,
let's go.
Let's go home.
Yes, I know you were born into a poverty-stricken family. But as growing up, when you were recovering from that point, was there ever a time you paused to cry because of your situation?
No, I don't cry. I think I'm just happy with where I am. I look at it as a learning curve, because my lifestyle today, I'm living that life I lived then. Nothing about me has changed. The only thing that has changed may be my living environment now. But nothing about me has changed. I'm very frugal. I learned to give because I've seen what it means to be poor. So if only I have, I know how to give. I take in people's children without knowing them that well. As long as you are ready to stay with me, I'm ready to stay with you and give you all the support. I'm very careful with what I do with resources. And I don't care what you put on the table. You won't see me going out. I'm loud on social media. It ends there. That you will see me, I will get up, drive that I'm going to have fun. No.
So how do you pay them, baby?
No, even if I go out, if you see where I'll go and sit, you won't believe it. I don't like this kind of high target lifestyle. I can be in this house for 1 month without stepping out if I don't have work to do. Okay. All I have to do is to ensure that I have enough. I love to cook, you know that.
Yeah.
If you can't live that kind of life without learning how to cook. And I love local foods. So I'm happy that I've gone this far. You've been an ambassador, and I wasn't only an ambassador for Italy. I was the ambassador for Italy, Slovenia, Serbia, and Montenegro.
Wow, 4 countries.
Oh yes, and then also I was the president's permanent representative to the World Food Program, International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD. That's WFP, IFAD, and then the other one is what? FAO, Food and Agricultural Organization. So I had 7 portfolios when I was in Italy. So I traveled.
Huge.
I traveled to Slovenia. You are giving the 5-star hotel, the executive suite, and I'll go and sleep in the hotel. I'll step out.
Oh,
I won't go out to
the poor man's daughter from Adiambra is now.
It's not there. Yeah. You see. So whenever I find myself in all these areas, I just you know that it's only God. It's the God factor, and it's so strong and it's so huge in my life. It's just the God factor.
Interesting. But just before we wrap up, if you have to advise the young people of today, what would you tell them?
Today, unfortunately, the problem we are having with the youth is thinking that they can get up one day and just be driving huge cars, sitting in bungalows, wearing white shirts with their ties, and then sitting in the office. It doesn't work that way. Don't look at those. Well, as you started in your introduction, some are born with silver spoons in their mouths, golden spoons in their mouths. If you are not born with, even if you are born with golden spoon in your mouth, and you choose not to do something about your own life, that golden spoon will fall off your mouth. Build yourself, develop yourself, be humble enough to know that if you have 1 cedi, you have just 1 cedi. If you will invest that 1 cedi to get 10 million in future, invest. You can even start with 0. But today we are in a hurry to become whatever, and that's the bane. And that is the reason why a lot of the youth are saying they are unemployed. Because what they want is not where they should be. Struggle. Go through the mill. I completed sixth form. I was doing my national service and I was boiling rice in small silver. In the evening, I will put it behind our house and sell. Because the national service can be shot. My real sixth form. Today, if you should tell some, I'll go and collect the same bread. But this time I won't carry it on my head. Come and put it behind my house and sell because you needed the extra money. Do whatever you can lay your hands on, as long as it is genuine. Do it. I can force it. What put to pray to see? Moja neighbor. If you use force to uproot your teeth, it's only blood that will come. You've got to take your time. Let the teeth fall on its own. Take the natural course and fall. Work. Don't rush. You're rushing to do. Unfortunately, that's the problem I have seen with the young ones. You're rushing to do.
No.
Take your time.
Take your time is the advice here being given by Tangoba. What's the meaning of Tangoba?
Say and kill them.
Hey, say and kill them. Wow.
What can they be?
Wow. So take your time, else life will say and kill you. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're grateful that you could share your story with us today. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime.
And I see Nana T here. It means that our mom is going to do something for somebody who needs something. So
we are going to eat TZ.
So TZ to say we're going to eat TZ.
You know what? Today the soup is different though. It's not the normal soup that you go to the restaurant and then they will serve that
This is different.
This is different.
So what we see on Facebook, if you watch Tangoba's Facebook before, what you see, we are actualizing it today. All right, so that's it. We're grateful to her and she's doing incredible. She has the Tangoba Legend School up north. They're helping people and it's been wonderful speaking to her. I hope that we will all take one or two lessons from her life. Remember that it's key for you to do something for free. If that thing won't hurt you, it will lead you to your destiny-changing moment. Thank you so much for joining us. Be around. Remember to like it, share, and subscribe to this channel so you get to see whatever we do. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. On behalf of my team, I say thanks so much for liking it and thanks for staying with us. We'll meet some other time. Ciao.